Hey everyone, it's Kristin from the Kristin Chronicles journey. I wanted to just briefly tell you about how the altars get their names in my system. It can be helpful to give the altars names so when, referring to them and when speaking about them, there can be a specific name to refer to. It also helps kind of bring them to life and characterize them as real people rather than, just a state of emotion or something, because it is really a lot more than that. Please note that these altars names are for when referring to them in conversation, not when actually speaking to them. They don't actually go by these names. It's just a way for me, Kristin, to be able to refer to the different parts more succinctly and to kind of be able to know who they are better, because it's easier to recognize, kind of a persona with a name attached to it and, be able to recognize it and identify it and, communicate that to others, okay, this is the part that's present, instead of describing what it is, I can give a name, and for the people close with me, they'll know who my parts are, my alters are, and they'll be able to understand better. We all go by Kristin, but when speaking to me, the stable me, about what's going on and who's who and who's present and who's influencing things, the names can be very handy to have. For some people, the altars actually have names, and as you get to know the altars, they'll tell you their names. That is usually not the case with me, not that I've found. I usually get to know their personality and kind of come up with names that would fit them, and they kind of make the final say, and yeah, that sounds good. Like, I'm okay with being called that, and then we stick to that. Bambi, I discovered her name in kind of a self-hypnosis spiritual journey type experience. Monica was a name I used to actually go by when I was in a certain state, and so that, I already had a name for that kind of. It was just kind of separating out which one was actually Monica. And then Misty and Crystal and Keegan, most of them, we kind of came up with the name and agreed upon it, and just kind of went by that. And then things like the Darkness and Kingsley were ideas taken from things I had discovered in the about 10 years ago when I was hearing voices for the first time, and I thought it was like spiritual oppression and like a demon. And so like there was a point where I just called the depression when it was like really bad, when a certain voice was there, that the darkness, because depression didn't even do it justice. It was just hell. It was oblivion in the worst ways. And so the dark entity, that's where that comes from. And then there was a point where a voice was saying, I'm king over you. And so I called it King Demon. And so once I separated out what those voices actually were, that's how one of them got the name Kingsley. So, it's different for everyone. Everyone's system is different. Everyone's journey is different with dissociative identity disorder. That is just how I personally have named my alters. It is different for everyone, and I know there's still parts I haven't discovered yet, and so it'll be interesting to see kind of what names we come up with for them, and what kind of happens as we continue the journey. But for now, it's a matter of just kind of recognizing personality discrepancies where like this doesn't line up with who I believe myself to be, or this doesn't feel like me, just different things, whether it's taste in music and food, or a response to something someone says, or just different things. And then kind of slowly piecing together the puzzles of who's who, what's what name fits who you are, like, are you okay with it, and so it's a very gradual, tedious process of self-discovery and self-awareness and defining your identity and, clarifying your self-worth and, meditating and being mindful of every single thought and every emotional response and physical response to surroundings and the inner happenings. And, it's a lot of work. but the discoveries I'm able to make are very exciting and very encouraging, and I look forward to the discoveries and the progress I will be making in the next few months. So thanks so much for joining the Kristin Chronicles journey. Your presence means the world to me. To know that I'm not alone in this, it's very uplifting. So thanks so much, everyone.